Hey there, welcome into the Marvel Stuff Podcast. Where, like we do every single week, we're going to talk about number one or number two. Which one do you think is the more enjoyable experience?
More enjoyable or more like relieving? I think there's a big difference there.
Well, yeah, I've been thinking of like relieving. One like feels better the instant it like.
It depends on how long you're holding it, really. I don't really love this conversation, but I'd say one.
it has a point. The audience will get it eventually. But we're actually going to talk about Marvel stuff and maybe one of those topics there. I'm Coach, and of course with me as always,
Josh Kennedy from Facebook.
from Facebook. Oh, I love that place. You guys should check it out. It's great. It's got our Marvel
Metaverse.
Stuff page on it. The Metaverse, yeah, that was... It's
still going, man. He's still trying.
It seems like a failed experiment. That was a lot of money that could have just gone to me.
I think people care more. Like, they think that, like, this weird universe AI thing is going to be so popular, but, like, people just are not buying it, dude. There's a couple people that are into VR, but, like, I like to think of myself as someone who games an all right amount, but I just don't care about VR at all.
Nope, not for me. There's that movie that came out based on the book.
Yeah, Ready Player One. It was great.
Yeah, Ready Player One. That
is cool. Yeah, the book, the sequel book was also good. The movie's great.
But even that, like,
doing the concept is dumb.
Seems better in theory than in reality.
Yes,
we're also just not ready. All right, let's talk some Marvel stuff. In the terms of MCU news, it's not a ton going on. A couple of rumors here and there. I hear rumors all the time about the upcoming movies. Like, some people, have you heard this rumor that it's like Tom Holland's Spider-Man is leading the Avengers in Kang? It's like, is he?
Yep.
It's a long ways away to know for sure. Like,
if he's
what is
actually
leading
dead or not. Yeah,
like,
I know.
who is leading the Avengers in Endgame? Who, like, you don't think that, I mean, it just seems
Cap. I think Cap gets that one, yeah. But then there's like two teams. There's like the spacefaring ones. Yeah, that's true. I think just because there's the one scene where Cap's got his broken shield and he's kind of like chilling out alone. That's how you know who's in charge.
That's how you know who's in charge. I get it. But yeah, stuff like that. I mean, Kang is so far away. I don't want to know.
I'm so much more excited for Secret Wars only because of the rumors that like all of our favorite old superheroes are going to be in that one. So, but also I am excited for Kang based on the end of Quantumania.
Yes.
Are we going to be? I feel like spoilers. I mean, maybe on that, but just in general on MCU movies. If you're not caught up, we're going to talk about some stuff.
Yes.
But also, we're giving you good advice on if you're watching it for the first time. So, there you go.
That's true. We are going to talk about that. I did want to talk about Quantumania for a second. You did just bring it up, and it's not doing super well, neither by money or by ratings. It's doing okay by money, but reception has not been super positive, which is interesting. I think our community via our Facebook page is pretty split on it, which, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we both rated it a 5. If you guys didn't hear the spoiler-free review or the full review, like, we both acknowledge that it is a movie and it's not as bad as Morbius. So you got that. You got those two things and makes it a 5.
Yeah, there's a good chance that I rated Morbius higher, and I was wrong if I did.
We didn't. I think we rated Morbius like a 3 or a 4, if I remember right.
Good. We're excellent at this job then. Yeah, I mean, there's some people who want to complain. It's like, are the critics just jerks and they don't get it? It's like, no.
It's just not that great. I mean, it's like okay. It's
especially Rotten Tomatoes, when like the whole point of Rotten Tomatoes is it good or is it not good? And there's not like any nuance.
It feels like Smarties. That's what Quantumania is. It's a candy that like you're okay to eat, but that's never going to be your first pick. It's just like one of those ones you're like, yeah, I mean, it's here and it's not as bad as like Dots, but like it's still not good.
Oh my god! Can you imagine if someone just like handed me candy corn? I would punch them in the face so hard.
Right? Yeah, so it's not candy corn. It's definitely Smarties. I think that's a good comp.
Get smashed.
I'm never excited about Smarties.
I do have Quantumania in my list for today. If you guys didn't see the title, you don't know what's going on, we're going to talk about the best moments to go pee. Everyone's got to go pee. Sure. You could extrapolate this however you want. It's a boring moment, an annoying moment, however you want.
That's kind of how I defined it in the description, where I was like, yeah, it's skippable, boring, or unimportant scenes. That's the way I put it.
I know from my personal list, I tried to weigh it as if I hadn't seen it, right?
That's true.
There's scenes that have gotten boring, like comedy scenes, especially that I've seen 15 times, that I'm like, all right,
True.
that's no longer funny. But you wanted to see it the first time. You didn't want to be in the bathroom for it. So I tried to weigh that. I tried
I
to
tried to
weigh
do that too, but there's
other
at least
points.
one or two on here where I'm just like, man, it was so good, so not good while watching it that I'm like, I want to give people advice that they can skip this because it sucks.
Yeah, and I also tried to make sure that if I chose a scene, it was long enough to leave a theater seat, get to a bathroom, pee, and come back. I think it was like I tried to keep that in mind. I probably didn't do it that well because
Yeah, I
I
was
don't
gonna say
actually.
I don't think I did on a lot of them. Yeah, maybe we'll
It
see.
had to. Yeah, I
There's a
mean, I
couple
tried
that are
not to be
short,
like there's one joke, but
right?
I think for the most part, I was trying to keep it at least focused enough. Not for any particular reason other than just to make it harder on myself. Really, I think is
Smart. It's the way to do
trying
it.
to trying
I
to
had to
just
like pick apart. It was weird because like it's kind of a weird thing to try and recall. At least for me, it was kind of weird. I'm just like, what parts of a movie didn't I enjoy? Because it's just on the face. I'm like, did I enjoy this movie or did I not? But then you try and
yes.
remember specific moments, and it's a little more difficult to like break that down. So I think that's why there's not a lot of people that have done a list like this. So hopefully the people appreciate that.
Yeah, I hope you guys like it. I hope it's different. It's fun. Like I said, I have some that are in good movies. Right, I have some that are in like really good movies I really like. Maybe that's even better. You really got to peter in good movies.
I
You
think
don't
a
want to
lot of
choose the
mine
wrong
are
spot.
mostly mid tier to bad, but there's one or two in here that I consider pretty good, or some of mine that favorites that I like.
Well,
So let's
I'll
run it.
go first. Then I'll go first, and I'll go with a good movie.
Okay.
And a scene that I think is okay to skip. And I'm thinking of Black Panther 2, which is a movie I love. Love
Yep.
that movie.
I hope it's. I
I
wonder
think
if it's the
it's
same one because I also have one from Wakanda Forever. So go ahead.
oh okay. Well, there you go. I didn't know it was. Well, I'm thinking really. I mean, I just don't like I don't like the villain. I don't care for Namor that much, and so the whole scene where he like gets told that like there because he like goes back and you see him in the village again. Well, not the village. What do you call it? His underground kingdom or whatever.
Talokan.
Not when he first introduces it, although that's actually a really good. You know what? I'm gonna change it to that one because that
Well,
one's a longer
that's
scene.
rude.
As your choice.
Well,
Because
mine
that was
is
a
Talokan exploration when Shuri goes down. That's the one I said you
yeah.
could definitely skip because it's just like it's just kind of a disappointment. She looks really weird in like a submarine suit that can't actually move. She's just kind of like rolling around, and like
Yep.
it was right before Way of Water, and that was far superior water looking stuff, and it was like kind of dark, which I guess
And you don't
makes some sense,
learn
but
anything. Like what
no.
happens? The scene is like he comes up and he's like, "Oh, this is what I have to protect," and you're like, "This is garbage. This is not
Yeah,
justification at
you should
all."
see what Atlantis looks like. It's so much better than your dumb
I was
city.
like, if you wanted us, the audience, to like be on his side, you got to make it look cool. You got to make it like look vibrant and fun. Then we'd be like,
Isn't
"Oh
that
yeah,
weird
this
that it
is."
feels like they kind of missed there when Wakanda was so like next level legendary, and then they try and do something new here, but it just felt like it was too green tinted. It was dark.
I
Everything
think
was
they
like
were
kind of
trying to be
rusty.
real.
Why?
It was
Yeah, but why is it rusty when you have a society living there that could just help clear that up? I don't know.
it's
It
always
just
been
wasn't very good.
I don't like it. I didn't. I mean,
I
to be
put that
honest,
as
yeah,
that's one of my scenes
you
is
do
the
have.
Talokan
Well,
exploration. Yes.
I stole it first, and I wanted to have one that was in a good
Well,
movie.
actually, you
So
said something different and then changed it. So
yeah, I know, but the scene I was thinking of, and I thought about it, I was like, it's too short. It's when they fight, and then he comes back, and it's like him sitting on the throne, and he gets all mad.
yeah,
He's like,
it's
oh
not
yeah,
very
we
long,
got it.
but
It's
I'm
like
with you.
that is a really dumb scene, but it's you would miss a lot if you tried to actually go to the bathroom. So the original
That's true.
exploration super counts. All right, you go.
Yep. I
Oh,
put the rooftop New Year's scene from Iron Man 3. Not just the rooftop, obviously, but like kind of the whole build up there. The Aldrich Killian. It's so basic and annoying. There was nothing.
so
It
you're
didn't
gonna pee
help.
in the first 10 minutes of the movie? No, I'm just picking on you.
I know that is true. It's right at the beginning, but it's such a skippable part of the movie. It's just like I so don't care about this guy's origin story, and he got so mad about being left on the roof by like a super rich guy that like you could tell by him saying he'd be there, he wasn't actually going to be there. That's his own fault. No reason to become a supervillain.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Iron Man 3 is such the movie we like, dude, trust me, you have time to go to the bathroom.
I tried to pick a couple, but I was like, that's a pretty good one. But yeah, there's ones later in the things where it's like, I don't know, him dragging the suit through the snow to get to the freaking shed. That was probably one where you're like, all right, I get it.
Yeah, but that's a perfect example of like, you know what? You got the trailers at the beginning. The first 6 minutes are garbage. Like, you can be late to Iron Man if you
True.
gotta if you gotta go.
Maybe you go
You'll be
pee
fine.
before the movie. There you go. You don't have to get up during the movie. It just says moments to go pee. So if your moment is the beginning, then go for it.
It's smart. It's definitely the movie to do it in because that
You
starts
can
as
still
bad
play
as
it.
any movie. I agree with that, and that you don't learn anything about him or Tony. I agree with everyone that says you could tell the movie was supposed to be that girl was supposed to be the bad guy, and it sort of didn't commit to it,
Yeah.
and so that scene feels flat and dumb, and I don't like it. So I
Yep.
kind of agree with that. I'm gonna go from the newest movie, the one we just watched, Ant-Man and Quantumanium.
Okay.
And I have this might be a controversial take, so everyone out there, just you chill, you all right. The whole thing with Bill Murray.
Oh yeah,
Skip the whole
completely
thing.
skippable. There's no reason. It wasn't
First
even
of
that
all,
funny.
you know what? If you don't watch it, then you won't know Bill Murray was in it, and you won't be disappointed that he was in it.
Dude, that guy
that's
had
reason
to be
number
the
one.
most expensive 5 minutes. One of the most in the MCU
Here's the thing.
history.
He's made a lot of really great cameos. Space
I know.
Jam, unbelievable funny. Zombieland.
True.
This was
They
dog
missed.
doo-doo butts.
You missed. Yep.
Now,
missed.
and the scene's boring. You don't learn anything. You're like,
Other
oh,
than like he's like partially human and totally banged Janet. That's about all
yeah,
you
you
know.
like her. They should be. You like you
Well,
already
yeah, you
know
were gone
that
for
she.
30 years.
You already know that she like left them. You already know that she was part of some rebellion by this point. You just learn nothing in this scene. The scene's dumb. It's stupid, and it's a waste of Bill Murray. And I would rather just have.
I'd rather him
He's
not be in the Jeez.
Oh,
I'd rather
there's
just
a
him
puppy
not
there.
be in the movie.
There's a puppy there. Yeah, I agree. So to me, I think that's an easy one. It's almost a positive to skip it. It's not even like can you skip it. It's like you actually probably should. You should go pee, for that scene.
I mean, yeah, you would just feel really bad. Like when you're like hoping you're like he's listed on the poster, man,
I know
for
he
that
is.
5 minute scene. It's because he's so famous. I get it, but at the same time, it's like why don't you just list Stan Lee in every Marvel movie then? That's about the extent of how I felt about his scene. Just felt like a Stan Lee cameo, kind of.
Yeah, Stanley cameos are at least funny most of the
I
time.
know,
Not
that's
always,
what I'm
but,
saying.
yeah. So I think that was to me that was the slam dunk one. I think that was
I'll go with another new one then. I put Heimdall's son and the kids being trapped by Gore in that one weird bird cage on whatever weird awkward planet that he was on. The whole scene
his
is
like
totally
speech to them.
yeah, his speech to them, and then like Thor and the kid going back and forth, and it felt completely skippable. We get that the kid's in danger. We don't need Gore to like. Yeah, he already stole the kids. We don't need to like put a hat on a hat. We get that you're a bad guy. Why are we doing a speech here?
Yeah, the speech doesn't do anything, and the whole like, I don't. Thor talks to them to like pump them up or something. Or like it's who cares. I get they were trying to like set him up to be a dad by the end of the movie, but that scene was not it.
Yeah, I'm with him.
I agree. There's a couple scenes from that movie that are definitely. I would almost say you could go pee during the whole thing with Zeus. Really.
Yeah, the Zeus
kinda
thing was a
like-
disappointment for sure.
I don't like most of that stuff. There's a couple parts in it that are funny though, and a couple jokes that are worth watching. So take Josh's advice. That's the better time. That's the better time to take the pee, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a semi-ish funny kind of one-liner, but not really.
All right, I'll go next. I'm thinking Captain America: Civil War. The whole airport scene, garbage.
No,
I mean, does anybody like that scene?
Nuts.
I mean, you could
There's
probably
no way.
take like a dump. It's long enough for you to. I'm kidding. of
Don't
course.
do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
That is a great. That's the best scene. That's the opposite of a go pee scene. I'm thinking the Spider-Man. What's the second one? No Way Home.
No Way Home. Far From Home.
Far From Home is the second one. Yeah.
Yes.
First of all,
Far
that
From
whole
Home.
movie, I feel like I want to take a pee break, but I don't know why. I don't know. I must be. I might be
Is your scene
lowest.
the explaining part where he's explaining where he's from, the Jake Gyllenhaal Mysterio thing, with the meeting with Nick Fury? Because I almost
No.
put that.
It's not. It's that's a good one. No, I think it's the scene where he's like, the scene where he's explaining his like plan in the bar. I guess like when he's talking to Peter about it, right? And he like convinces Peter to give him the glasses, sort of.
Yeah.
I get that it's like important to the plot, but is it though? and it doesn't
You talking about his
feel
origin story or the actual scene where he hands over the glasses? Like you talking
any
about the reveal once Peter leaves, or just the scene where he's talking with Peter
the
about the
scene where he's
glasses?
talking with Peter. Once you
Okay.
see the reveal, it's like, oh, I get it. That's cool.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Okay.
like the whole conversation, like how he convinces Peter, doesn't really make sense. It's sort of boring. It takes longer than it needs to, and it makes Spider-Man feel mopey. I don't like the scene. Maybe this is less of a P one and more of a I don't like it. But I
I've
just
got one or
wanted,
two of those as well, so don't worry about it.
yeah, I just don't like the scene. I don't like anything about it. Maybe, but I guess you could argue that no, you could definitely skip that scene and you come back and be like,
You'd be fine. Yeah.
you don't. Here's the thing. Here's the whole thing about that. This is why I'll defend it, and the whole reason I don't like this movie. You could watch the whole movie and not even like realize that the glasses were important. Like, is it really that important that he wears the glasses to take over? He could have hacked those drones in any other way, and we would have been just as convinced. Like, he was already creating weird monsters before he had the glasses. I don't understand. I don't. The whole plot's dumb, and I think that scene is a crux why I don't like it.
Well, that's all right. I get it. We're doing a lot of sequels here, I'm noticing. I put Hank looking for Janet in the quantum realm in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I almost made the joke that like you could just pee through the whole movie, but I didn't. I picked this scene because one, it's like we see in Quantumanium that like it's nothing like where he is at that point. It's just really it's kind of trash. I'm
Is that
finding.
scene long enough to pee? I guess the point is, even if you missed a little bit more, you still wouldn't miss anything. That's am I right? Is that scene even a minute long?
I don't know. The whole thing is a little bit longer.
Like maybe it is. You're right that it wouldn't matter either way. Even if you continue to miss the movie afterwards, you're probably doing yourself a favor. Even when she comes back, it's sort of doo-doo butts. So, I agree. That's a movie worth skipping entirely. I'm gonna do another good one, just because I think big long movies that are good are sometimes the ones you need the pee break the most. You know
That's
what I
true.
mean?
Yeah.
So I'll go with my personal love. One of my favorite movies is Shang-Chi, as you guys.
Ooh, great movie. Yep.
Oh, I love Shang-Chi. It's super good. I think you could get away with towards that the well, I like the beginning one. It's the dinner when they come back. It's sort of the end where they come back to Earth. Right?
You
Is
talking
that a
about
post credit scene?
where Wong shows up? No, I think that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And then the actual scene where they go through the thing and they talk to Carol and Bruce. Maybe it is the mid-credit scene. I don't know.
Yeah, now I'm debating with myself. I thought for sure it's the end of the movie. Whatever. I don't like that scene. I don't like
I
anything
mean,
about it. I think it's not funny. I don't like the first dinner scene either, though. So like,
okay, so the whole dinner concept, yeah.
the whole
I get
idea
it.
of them like having dinner with this weird friend, I don't think it like helps their character at all. I don't think it gives you any insight to their relationship as friends. I don't think it helps set them up as these loser. I mean, I wouldn't call it loser, but you know what I mean. Doesn't do anything for me. Either of the dinner scenes. I kind of just wish it would cut those two friends from the movie entirely.
Oh yeah, they're not. They're definitely not important. I get that, like they're like, oh, they're comparing lives, and they're really far behind in the beginning, and then they're saving the world in the next, and it's all whatever. Yeah, that's a fun one. The next one, I had to like pick my brain to even remember the scene that well, but I know it was kind of long, and that's Malekith's origin scene in Thor 2.
Oh, it's
Thor
so
2 is just
long.
terrible,
They
but
do
it's
the
so
book and
long.
everything.
Yep, and it's so unimportant because the guy, like, the villain's lame. You get the concept pretty quickly, and he just, spoiler, he just dies. Like, he's gone by the end of the movie. So he's so unimportant that, like, we had to spend, I don't know, even know how long the scene is, 10 minutes learning his origin story
It's probably
when
not
no
10
one
minutes,
cares.
but
No, you're right. It's probably more like 5, but still.
it's a long 5 minutes. Yeah, here's a not such a hot take. This is a cold take. That whole art style with the weird book and stuff that they do in Thor, it sucks. It's boring to watch. I don't like it in Ragnarok either. Like the whole roof, and it shows. It's boring. I don't like it. Just show like an actual flashback. Don't show this weird garbage art style. I shouldn't call it garbage because it's probably based on actual Norse art, but I don't like it. So, and I'm entitled to my opinion.
That's true. Yeah, it gives me Shrek vibes.
It does. It sort of gives you. It does. That's exactly the art style. That's
Yes.
the art style
Yes.
of the fantasy book and Shrek. All right, I'll go with the chalk one, which is Avengers: Age of Ultron, which is a movie we both say we love a lot more than I
It's
think the
true.
general consensus, which I
Yes.
still stand by because the good moments are
They're
that
great.
good. Um, but pretty much the I guess you would call it the Avengers breaking up scene, the Avengers separating scene, the whole Thor like it's Thor going to search Misty Mountains in the lake,
Oh yeah, that
and
weird scene that like Heimdall cameos in, and he's like going through the hall or whatever. That was yeah. I
yeah,
think that's what you're talking about. It's
yes,
weird.
that's exactly right. Well, no, yeah, when he goes in the lake, and then he sees
Yeah.
the future, and he gets told that
Yes.
you are Ragnarok. First of all, that scene doesn't really pay off. I get like
Nope.
technically he is, but like that scene was definitely setting up like a dark turn, not like a weird comedy Thor Ragnarok movie. So
Yep. I'm with
not
you.
only does it not pay off, it's also boring in the moment, and it's long enough because there's other stuff, other heroes are also moping around at the same time. So there's a good chunk after the Tony and Cap have their little fight. With that's a good scene with the
Yes.
logs.
Splitting the log. Yep.
But then sort of the stuff that's after that is definitely skippable. Definitely worth a pee break in a movie that's I think pretty good.
Yep.
But
No doubt.
that's a chalk pick I think.
One that I put, and I'm not sure if it's going to be long enough, so maybe it'll have to fall under like things I don't like. But it's Crow, whose name I had to look up, versus Thena in Eternals. It's Bill Skarsgård's character, where he's like the weird deviant prime or whatever, and they have their whole fight in the
Oh,
cave.
you're right. What a doo-doo
It's
scene.
it's pretty long. I couldn't remember if it cuts back and forth between that and the other Eternals fighting, because if
It do-
that's the case, it's a little bit harder to pick it apart. But just if you can somehow, because I know there's at least a 2 minute stretch, two or three, where it's just that one, and that thing sucks.
I
That
think
what a waste of such a good actor.
you're right. That fight is garbage. It does intersplice a little bit, but even that fight
You could
that's
skip some of the intersplicing though, because I think that's the scene where like Sprite's duplicating herself or whatever, and or duplicating the mountain so it confuses Cersei or whatever.
yeah, it's like
Also
not
kind of skippable.
it's none of the cool parts of the actual Eternals fighting.
Right, exactly.
So you're right. That's a good stretch to skip. The Eternals too, like is still full bore ahead.
I'm
They're
glad.
going.
That was the surprising thing. I think it was last month or something like that. It was revealed that the number one Marvel movie that was streamed on Disney Plus was Eternals. I think that has something to do with the fact that a lot of people didn't want to go see it in theaters,
Yeah,
but it was like one of the most viewed ones, which is pretty cool if you want to be honest. Because I think the people that like it, they do like it enough for a rewatch or two. I would put myself in that camp because I think I've watched it 3 times, and it's definitely not my favorite, but I like it enough. It has it has legs, so
there's
I'll watch it
things on
again
it.
before the second one.
I think I would choose the whole scene when they go back to who's the big guy with the fist? Gil.
Gilgamesh, he's
So when
like my
they
favorite one.
when they go meet Gilgamesh,
Mhm.
that scene's great with the whole like he's got
Yeah,
this
where he's
suit,
like
but he's an
Alfred, he's
apron.
wearing the apron. Athena's out in the whatever.
That
Yeah,
scene's great. It's when they go out to talk to Athena and she's just like sitting in the forest and having visions, and it sort of gives a little backstory on where they came from a little bit. That scene sucks and it's boring, and I would definitely suggest you go pee. So
yep, fair enough. That's
pretty
another good
much
one. I didn't write that
Gilgamesh.
one down, but I put that dumb fight for sure.
All right, I got another one, probably cold take here. Iron Man 2, again, a movie. This is a movie that's pretty universally bad.
Oh, I
So,
skipped one from Iron Man 2, so I'll be glad to go back to that one. So let's go ahead.
well, is it the him in the bunker, him in the hangar? So
Who in the
when
hangar?
the bad, what's the guy's name?
Oh, Whiplash in the hangar
No.
with the parrot and Justin Hammer. Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
that whole conversation.
Yep.
Nothing
I
literally
literally
nothing
wrote that down.
happens.
That's literally my number 2 on this
Go
list. I just forgot to say it.
go back and watch that movie, and then
It
like really
serves
try to
almost
pay
no
attention
purpose.
to that scene. Nothing is being. It's like it's Justin Hammer trying to say like, "Oh, I
Hey,
need
we
you to do
need
this,
to.
this, and this,"
Yep.
and Whiplash, she's like, "Yeah, so not doing that," and he's just sort of like not paying attention. It's weird. it's everything about the Whiplash character just doesn't quite
Oh,
match, and
Whiplash
that's a
sucks.
good
Yeah, that
scene.
was I wrote that exact scene. I put Hammer and Whiplash with the parrot and the building hanger scene. Yeah, I
I
also
do
put
like the
that.
parrot. I think the parrot's the best
I mean,
part.
the
I think
parrot is the only saving grace of that scene, but
his weird obsession with that parrot is the
I did
only
like
reason I
that.
like
I
him.
did like that. That was an interesting move.
But
But
yeah,
yep, okay. Well, glad we agree on that one. We'll count that as yours because you said it, but I definitely skipped it. It's number 2 on my list. I put Yellow Jacket turning that office dude into goop. Obviously, that's like a 3-second scene, but the whole meeting directly before, for the most part, where he's like revealing, like,
hmm
"Ooh, this is what Yellow Jacket looks like," but it doesn't actually work yet, and I just didn't care for it. That's in the first Ant-Man movie.
I would say, yeah, I would say anything that has him. What's his name? They
Yep,
just said it in Quantumanium, dude. They
I
just
know
said
a
it
bunch
in
of times.
Quantumanium so many times, and I can't. That's how little I care. I
Well,
would argue.
he's a dick.
I would argue every he is. I would argue every scene he's in is as soon as he gets on screen. I would argue you can just go to the
I
bathroom.
know it's kind of weird. I mean,
Um,
it was definitely at a time where I've talked about this before, even on our depths episode. Like, it's because he was a pretty important character in House of Cards that he got that role. Not saying he's a bad actor, but that I don't know. That just he's not that intimidating of a villain. He was also just kind of annoying. He was kind of like
yeah, he's
just
whiny about.
whiner. He's a huge whiner, and no one likes a whiner.
Yeah. So if you're ever watching Ant Man for some reason for the first time, every time the
The
tall
scene where
bald
he
guy.
brings Hank back to him, you can kind of just like dip out while they're talking with the military people. And then yeah, when he turns the guy into goop, flame.
Yep. Super lame. Ultra. Yeah, the bathroom scene. Super skip.
Yes.
No one cares. I think that's pretty obvious one. You got any other ones? I
Yeah,
think
I
I used
got
all mine.
one more actually because we already talked about the Telecon one. The Red Room takedown by Yelena at the end of Black Widow. It's skippable for a couple
Yeah.
reasons because you can
Yep.
kind of tell too. It's some of the worst CGI in the MCU. Like, watch that scene again and see how poor the screen is, especially when she's like stabbing the staff into the propellers or whatever. Like pretty much the whole destruction of the Red Room propulsion system and like getting that thing to fall down sucked. I
Yeah.
almost
Here's
said the intro of Taskmaster, like the reveal that it's the daughter. I almost had to skip that, but I decided that this other thing was worse.
yeah. Here's what I would say. This is a really good example of you went to the movies. You had plans after the movies, and you're like, oh, am I gonna make it? Yeah. Pretty much as soon as they start destroying
You can figure out
that
what they
flyer,
did.
you could just leave. You can be like,
Yep.
yep, good deal. They destroyed it. They got away. Awesome. You could. That scene is the most boring escape while something falls around. First off, I hate that in all movies. I didn't like it in Way of Water. I don't like it in a lot of movies. Like the
Yeah.
whole, we've already beaten the bad guy. We destroyed the base, and
I
now
think
we
the
have.
only exception I will say is the Canadian base in X Men 2, where he takes down the whole thing. That's really cool. I like how they do it in that. I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's Stryker's base.
No,
Whatever.
I
It
know
doesn't.
what it is. I'm just trying to remember like how
It's a
the actual
long
scene plays
scene
out.
where they have to like flood it, and then like he has to inject the adamantium into Lady Deathstrike and like make that
Yes,
whole
but
escape.
yeah,
It's
that's
cool.
true. That's a good.
It's
But
you
that
are
has a good
destroying.
fight.
Yeah,
That
it's
has a
great.
good fight in it. But this is like
No, that's what I'm saying. That was a good example of that. These other ones are poor examples of doing that.
it's like because they've already beaten the bad guy. Like you've
Yeah.
already won. The movie's already come to a close, but we still have to like watch you escape for 15
A
minutes.
little bit of me almost said the whole like pig scene with Black Widow. She like makes him stop breathing and like that weird family interactions. But then I was like, you
No,
kind of need to have the family relationship thing and like see how that plays out. So I left it alone. But
and it's also like it's creepy and weird. You kind of have to watch
yeah,
it, otherwise you
yeah,
wouldn't get how creepy. I don't like the movie, but I think
yep.
that's
But yeah, that was my last one, I believe. Yes, that's all I got. That's another one you can pee at if you got to leave early. I
I think
did.
that
I gave you one intro and one conclusion. That's actually how I did it. You can skip the beginning of Iron Man 3 and the end of Black Widow.
you definitely can, and
You're welcome.
all of Ant Man 2. You really can. No, that movie is.
Same with Thor 2. I
Should
mean,
move
what
it.
really happens?
You
Nothing
probably
good.
could skip. I don't know if you could skip all of Iron Man. Could you skip all of Thor 2 and still? I'd
You
have to
can
think
kind of
about it
piece
more.
it together. Yeah, you'd have
I'd
to
have
think
to,
about it more. I mean, what's the ethereal, the red Infinity Stone? I mean, you get to learn about that, but that's
I would argue that you could just put the post-credit scene of Ant-Man and the Wasp at the end of Ant-Man and
yep,
never have to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp. I would
yep.
argue that.
Except it's gonna suck because Ghost is gonna be a character in Thunderbolt, so you have to know that kind of junk. But it's fine. All right, that was fun.
Are there any movies that you think like just don't have a spot at all? That's just like you're gonna have to stay and watch the whole thing. There's no way you could
I
ever
mean,
find a way to pee.
oh, I was gonna say the opposite. Is there anywhere you can just skip while watching the MCU? I was like, I mean, I hate to say it, but you could definitely skip Werewolf by Night or the Guardians Christmas special, but no reason to.
No, yeah, I'm trying to think.
Were you
It's
like beginning to
there
end?
any
You have to watch the whole thing. Probably Infinity War. Did you? No, you said an Infinity War scene. Maybe Endgame.
no, yeah. Could you? I mean,
No, you said an Age of Ultron one. Did you say an Infinity
yeah.
War one?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm trying to think of Infinity
I
War.
think Infinity War is like it's pedal to the metal the whole movie.
It's pretty moving.
Yeah, you could maybe skip the like fight with Wong, Spider Man, and Iron Man in the park, but
In the park, yeah. But
yeah,
that's like when they first get there, though. So
right, exactly. So there's no
you kind
reason.
of want to watch that. Yeah, Infinity War is a good answer. That might be the most like you have to watch. Is there a
You have to
scene
watch the
in
whole thing.
Civil War that you could skip? Could you skip any of Civil War?
You probably could, like when they first go back to the base and they're like having their weird debate over the Accords
Uh,
where they're captured and
I
like
think
I don't know the making Winter Soldier escape. I mean, obviously you
the
need to
Winter
see some
Soldier
of that.
escape. You could skip. You could pee during like when Winter Soldier gets attacked in that apartment.
Like what his fight with Iron Man and Black Panther in the cafeteria looking thing. I mean,
No,
it's
that.
it's okay.
Eh,
You could probably skip it though if you wanted to. I'm not saying you should.
I was thinking more of the one in the apartment.
Oh yeah, that one too with the Cap.
It's a fun one, but I think it's skippable. I don't know.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Infinity War is a good answer. I think Infinity War is like you kind of just can't pee. I don't know what to tell you. Like
Bring a cup, bring a Gatorade bottle.
It's either really, and it's a long movie, but it's either funny or informative or like emotional. Pretty much, you're right the whole time. So
Yep.
don't pee during Infinity War. Save all your pee for Quantumanium. Wouldn't that be nice if you could just store up your pee? Just be like,
Yeah, might be kind of weird. I'm gross like that. But sometimes I think about that when I'm so like congested. I'm like, what if I could save all this instead of blowing my nose all day? Just have like one big explosion. But then I was like, that's gross.
super exposure. For the record, my daughter has been awake this whole recording, sitting in her crib. She's just sitting up completely silently.
Well, she's Marvel Stuff's #1 fan. I mean, she listens to every episode.
That's what I'm saying. She just like
She
listening
even
down.
was featured on the Ant-Man and the Wasp roast.
I thought for sure she'd fall asleep while we did this, or like cry and try to get my attention. But again,
Just chilling.
she's an absolute stud. I don't know what to tell you guys. My baby is the coolest baby, and your guys' babies all suck, especially Josh's baby.
My baby's great. Love that baby.
I don't think that's the first time he's ever said that. Don't let him
That's
lie
not
to you.
true. That's
He
definitely
spends
true.
all day saying.
There is recordings. You can check previous episodes.
No.
All right, well, that was fun.
Kinsey's awesome. Thanks for hanging out, guys. This is fun. As always, we're just trying to have a little bit of fun while we wait for some stuff to come out.
Something different. You guys seem to like the fillers, and we appreciate you tuning in every week. Spotify finally released the amount of followers you have. I won't reveal the number, but I was very happy to see how many people are following us, and it's pretty cool watching that number go up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, keep listening, keep sharing, keep liking it. Keep us going so we can do cool stuff. Obviously, someday we'd
Trying to go to Comic-Con 2024. I think that's the goal. I think
Ooh,
if you guys could get us up to like we get like passes for Comic-Con
Ooh,
2024,
that'd be
I'd be into that.
Or even just like enough money for Comic Con 24.
Right? Yeah, that one or the other.
Get us there. Get us money. We like
Yeah.
money. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
We love you guys. We thank you guys for hanging out. Just don't have too much fun without us.